Hello, my friends. Thursday, October 9th, 2025 is just rolling along with lots of surprises around the world, and I hope some of them are very positive for you. We won't get into any of that right off the hop, but welcome. Thank you for watching, tuning in. Being live with me means a lot, and the comments make the whole stream a lot more fun. I do appreciate those that are watching. That's definitely a positive thing. Those that can actually interact really make the show something of a show rather than it just being my head and then people listening. Like Mirage is here already. Thank you for being here, like pretty much right on time. I started a little bit late, giving myself the 10 minute or so window. Hopefully everything sounds great. Sound check, test. Hopefully everything is going well on that side of things. Today was really cold in my local area. I'm sure Mirage knows what I'm talking about. We had very cold temperatures the last little while, but it's awesome because now I get to wear the fashions and hoodies and layers and things that I appreciate, including the pizza pants. Yes, we got them on today. Pepperoni and cheese on the pants. It's not your typical sort of audio show. We are here to engage as people, personalities, bring our subjectivity to things, and also enlighten what we can. And today's topic is all about this new Spotify Lossless release. And I don't know how many people really, in the hi-fi space, it's typically shunned. People talk about how Spotify isn't even worth listening to. There's this, gatekeeping sort of looking down your nose at other people who don't have good enough to be whatever it is that people judge to be good enough. Not that there isn't merit to it, but I don't think the personality that goes along with judging those who have less is really appropriate. So in light of that, well, what I want to do today is just talk about a video that I came across that talked about and analyzed, actually this channel analyzed the signal that Spotify is putting out versus other streams or other services that are lossless. I want to jump to a couple of points because the video is actually very technical. There's a lot of different things that happens in the video, but what I want to showcase basically is lossless worth it? Depending on where we are in our journey, is it worth it to get lossless? Is it worth even caring about lossless sound at some points? If we're listening to, someone asked me the other day about cassettes, like what do I think about cassette players? I think it was the stream on Tuesday. And I think it's very nostalgia-like, but I mean, what's the output like? And there are so many audio factors that go into the sound that we have. Like my voice is not going to sound to you the way that it sounds in my room because one, this microphone will change the way it sounds. The audio to analog to digital converter that sends it through the internet, plus the compression, plus the DAC on the opposite end, plus the speakers, plus your room. There are so many factors that already change the sound. Like you'll know what I sound like as a consistent basis based on what you hear from your system in your room. But when we talk in person, I'm going to sound similar, but the timbre or characteristics of my voice will be slightly different based on all those factors. Now, Spotify lossless versus its regular, there's a debate there whether it's actually lossless. That's what the video actually looks at. It looks at other services to determine whether it is bit perfect lossless or if it isn't. Now, because that's a false claim. If it's not actually lossless, then what are they selling? The answer to that right off the top is they're not, because it's included in their previously available service, which means you were already paying for, I think it's 320 kilobit, what they called very high bandwidth. And the new lossless is a 24-bit, 44.1 hertz sample rate output, but it's free. It's just added on to their service. So the real question I want to go over throughout the video is lossless, is considering lossless worth it? And that question, validate that question based on how many factors go into making the final sound. So many different things. So anyways, let me bring on this video. This is by the Headphone Show, which is interesting. I mean, headphones, you're definitely going to get more of a, closer sound, right? Like it's not affected by the room at that point. If you're listening to in-ear monitors or overhead headphones, over-ear headphones, then you're extremely close to the music source at that point. And throughout this video, it's very technical. You can definitely check it out. It's Spotify Lossless has a problem. The chapter is essentially called, "Is Spotify Actually Lossless?" And it goes through a lot of different technical aspects. And I think this is original file versus title. And the results show here that, yes, the original file, I don't know what the source is. I guess they have a reference source. And they're playing it through a Delta software. And then they also do a check through another player, which is Qobuz. Qobuz files seem to have come back bit perfect through this software. And then when they play it through Spotify, let me see if I can get this right. It says 0% not bit perfect. So original file versus Spotify very high. And then let's see if it goes through. I want to see if it actually registers here. So there it is. There's Spotify versus lossless. Comes back not bit perfect at 0.01% is what is showing in this software. So that means that when they're advertising it as lossless, according to this test and software, now I don't know if any of these are validated or how they're, you know what I mean? This is just something I came across, and you guys can check it out too if you want. It's the Headphone Show. The title is there. You can check it out. And I don't want to play it. I just want to briefly talk about the tests here and the results. So if this is title signal and the harmonics, this is Spotify's lossless signal, and obviously it's a higher noise floor and it's got some anomalies. Quite a bit of anomalies. So what is going on there? What makes a difference between titles, the title streaming and Spotify streaming? There's obviously something going on with the software. And later on in the problem's explained with, like, when you're streaming through a computer, and this is something that I definitely am going to talk about. Streaming through a computer means that your computer software is doing a lot of management of the signal. And it can do a lot of harm to the signal as well if you're not managing it as best as possible. So it's explained in this video. I do encourage everybody to watch the video if you do care about it. He explains a lot more about it than I could ever in that much detail. So definitely go and watch that. Let me see. There we go. So I could not figure it out. I then tried Tidal, and to me it was a huge difference, and I stayed with Tidal. Yeah, so my Spotify programs updated today, and I just realized that when the software updated today, I looked at the app and it says media quality section, and I was able to change it as of today. Before today, I wasn't able to do it. So it was rolled out in certain regions over time. So when they said it was launched, it wasn't launched everywhere at the same time. it was unlocked in certain regions at a time. So I would say check it again. It seems to be working today. I did change a number of things. I re-downloaded some files into Lossless. Maybe I'm just using more space and more bandwidth. It's probably a waste of time according to this video anyways. So that Spotify was okay a few years ago. One day it went down for a few hours and came back. Music was so bad. I don't know what happened. That's interesting. But what device were you using for it to crash and go down? Because that's the topic I want to get into with, if it is Lossless or any of these streamers, like, are we getting the most out of them? You know what I mean? Like, we're spending money on these devices, but are we getting the most out of them? It's something that I've been discovering, changing my preamp and streamer. I just changed and streaming from a laptop through USB and PCM file or PCM signal. It's all of it sounds different. It does something different for every which way that I'm using it. And that's over Wi-Fi or wired or through a laptop, through a computer, through my Ween Pro Plus, through the Eversolo. All of them have a different, it's the same streaming, same platforms, but every one of those services sounds different. So I don't know. Mara says, I tried Qobuz. It was the same as Tidal, but they did not have the music I like. I did not like their platform. Not sure if it changed since the first came out. Qobuz, I'm going to also agree with that. I don't like their UI. I don't like how everything is laid out. Their library is also limited in some sense. A lot of the electronic music that I appreciate, that I look for, that I enjoy is not there. A lot of the playlists that I transfer from my Spotify, which is basically what I use to find a lot of music, which I might do at the end of the video, my discovery and release radar, I haven't done for a long time, and both of them are available today. Problem with that is if one of the songs slips through on the video, then if I'm playing audio for you guys, it might demonetize the video. So I've been trying to avoid that lately with doing streaming, and I might scroll through it, give my impressions, and then we'll do an actual live for that over the weekend. These videos have been actually reaching out to a lot of different people. I saw some people commenting from the Philippines, which is amazing that people are watching anything that I have to say from around the world. So thank you very much to anybody. I really appreciate that. But yes, that's true that the UI on Qobuz is never really been impressive to me. The UI for Spotify, for me, works so much better. And it also has a lot of the genres that I really appreciate. I will say, though, Qobuz by far sounds a lot better than Spotify does, even in their lossless format. I haven't used Tidal a whole lot. I know Tidal and Spotify have closer libraries. I might start using Tidal after my Qobuz subscription runs out, but I like Qobuz a lot for what they offer. I have to see what happens when that time comes. Not entirely sure what I'm going to do, but it's an option considering their library is a little bit thicker. I was on my Bryston BB25. Oh, Audio Engine Streamer. Audio Engine Streamer. The music was fine with Spotify. The server went down for a few hours and came back, and the music had lost clarity. So at that time, did you double check any of the settings and anything that happened with the streamer at that time? Because a lot of the stuff with like a glitch like that, if something changes digitally or a signal or whatever, sometimes you have to restart or double check some of the settings because the software is managed by their servers too. And if their servers restart something from their end, then it might change some of the settings on the streamer side. So I double check a lot of the settings all the time just to double check. If anything sounds weird, then I go in and do troubleshooting and just take a look at all the streaming. So I was trying a few tracks a couple weeks, and it was never as before. Okay, so it just permanently changed for some reason. That's interesting. I tried Tidal and never went back. That was years ago. Yeah, Well, I mean, if it's working, it's working. So on the topic of is it worth it, I was gonna say, like I was saying, if I'm using Spotify or Qobuz, it doesn't matter what streamer it is, and I'm using my laptop and I'm using my USB-C to USB-B jack, which can get plugged into my previous Rotel preamp and now my Michi preamp. They have a DAC built in, so I can use a USB directly to the DAC and stream through the computer. The computer stream output, even though it's PCM through USB, like USB 2.0, full bandwidth, that signal from a laptop versus the signal that comes from, say, my Weem Pro Plus using coax to the DAC on a preamp, the Weem Pro Plus sounds way better than just the laptop. And then when I'm streaming through my Eversolo A8, which I just got, and you can see in my previous videos. So let me say hello here. Ambuna's here. Hello, how are you? Thanks for being here and commenting. I appreciate that. Over 60% of my audience does watch on a TV. So if you're on a TV, that means you're just watching for the entertainment, which means you can't interact. It would be nice if everybody had something to say, but I understand. And that's totally fine. Some people might listen while they're in traffic and they can't comment, but they're here to show some love. So I appreciate you if you are listening. I will try to do my best and narrate and talk about everything as possible. So yes, the Eversolo A8, which I just got, has improved power supply, improved components overall. I mean, it's a dedicated piece of hardware that streams specifically. So if you're using a laptop to stream, then all of the software, all of the engineering in that laptop is doing multiple different things. It's for a lot of different things. Then it has the digital process that spits it out through USB, and then the DAC and the preamp will do the work from there. What I find through the Weem Pro Plus and Eversolo, both of them sound better, but the Eversolo sounds even better than the Weem Pro Plus. And I'm using the internal DACs from that to XLR. I don't know that XLR makes much of a difference because I don't know if it's a truly balanced output or not. And then the Rotel Michi P5 preamp I have, I don't know that it's a fully discrete balanced preamp either. I don't know what's going on there. But the point of why I'm saying it is either one of those streamers automatically makes the stream sound better. So what I would say to people who are even either judge or critical of Spotify's lossless or not, or a service, any of the other services or not, I would say that you could do any one of 100 different things in your system, in your room, to make the system sound different or better before considering getting lossless files. Like if you're considering going to like SACD to improve the way things sound in your system, you could do 100 other things first before purchasing an SACD player to improve the sound in the room. Like towing the speakers in and out, pulling them in and out from the wall, adding something different to the walls for first reflections, putting carpet on the floor to eliminate bounce from the floor or the ceiling. Put up something fancy in the room like acoustic dampeners, right? Something that's either approval or something you can just put in the room temporarily. A friend was over here, actually, I don't want to use his name, but was over here to buy my Arundel towers. So thank you very much for that. And in our discussion while he visited, we were talking about some of the things that you could do to actually eliminate and make the sound better. Like I have carpet in my rooms. My side walls have first reflection point diffraction. I wouldn't say diffusion because they're not really proper diffusers. And then the rest of the room is covered in blackout curtains, which eliminates a lot of the high frequency echo. So those few things change the sound signature of the room and make it sound tight, like what you would call dry. Dry meaning low RT60 times. I don't know that it's really working, but it's definitely working for high frequencies. So no slapback echo, nothing like that. It eliminates those points. So we were talking about that, in even putting like beach towels or a towel from your bathroom or whatever in front of your towers at the first reflection point. Like when I say that, do you guys know what I'm talking about? First reflection points? I don't know how to demonstrate it really quickly. I'm going to use my phone. I'm going to use my other phone. So here, this is a first reflection point. You guys can see the reflection, and there's my, let me see, there's my, you can't see my camera, but you can see the light. That's a first reflection point. If I hold my phone over here and then I move, you can kind of see that's at the ceiling. Let me see if I can actually angle it towards the light. No, see, there I am. That's a first reflection point. Can I talk? And if you do the same thing but on the floor, then you can see, like, you see my face there. So the first reflection point between my face and the camera is where my phone is. So if you put a towel on the floor right here to eliminate that first bounce from the floor, find out what happens. I'm not even going to tell you what happens, but if you have never done it and you have hardwood floors, if you have a hard surface floor, just try it. See what happens. You can write me back underneath the video later on and say, it did nothing, or it did whatever. Just let me know what you think of that one experiment. Just eliminate the floor bounce in that area. Use a mirror of some kind. Just look at the floor, put the mirror on the floor, and wherever your tweeter is or your mid-range is or whatever, mid-range frequencies will probably bounce off the floor more easily. So a towel might not do it. You might need something thicker than that to properly diffract most of the frequencies that would bounce from the floor. The reasons why I say the tweeter, maybe not, because tweeters beam a little bit over frequencies, but some of their lower, like upper mid frequencies might bounce off the floor. What essentially may happen is it will clean up a bit. And Boone is saying a thick rug. Yes, because a thick rug being thicker and more dense means it's going to absorb or slow down the air frequency or the air energy, and it takes that energy out of the room. And when it takes the energy out of the room, or either absorbs or diffracts the signal, it has less interference when it gets to your ear. So it's going to come to your ear first from the speaker and a reflection off the floor or surface after that. Second or third reflection points, your brain's pretty good at figuring that out, so you don't need to eliminate all of them, which, some people will say a room that's too dry or too much absorption doesn't sound proper. I mean, that's subjective. They're right. It absorbs more energy, but it's subjective whether it sounds good or not. So try it. Just do that. And the reason why I'm saying it is you could do that and make a big difference or change in the sound of your system before going to lossless files, because lossless files are supposed to unlock, I'm going to say clarity, but in order to have clarity, you need to have a lot of other things in your system that are also clear already. Stuff like cables. I was warned recently. I was talking with my friend Ed at EQ Audio, and he was talking to me and warning me, basically. I was talking about silver cables. And silver is a better conductor of electricity than is gold or copper, as far as I know. You could fact check me on that. The problem is silver corrodes, so it's not used as much. And gold isn't used for cables because it's way too expensive. But gold doesn't corrode, so it's normally a coating on things. It's gold plated. It conducts electricity better. It doesn't corrode, so it protects the copper or other materials. Rhodium's another one that they use. Ross says, I have hardwood floors, and I did get a large carpet, and it did make a big difference for sure. See, there you go. Absolutely. Carpet on the floor to eliminate the first reflections, even if it's not going to stay there. If you're really serious about audio and you just can't get a significant other to be like, I want this on the floor or on the walls or whatever, make it temporary. Just mark it out somehow, find something on the floor. Remember where they are. Get a bathroom mat, a shower mat or something with a rubber underneath it. Throw it in those places and then see what happens. It will improve sound. Most of the time, it will improve the sound. It'll change it, but whether you like it or not, it's up to you. But to piggyback on the topic is lossless does something, but it's typically in the higher bit rates. In our pursuit for hi-fi means it unlocks more detail in high frequency range. And high frequency is really easy to mess up in a space. With a reflection, with a bounce, with diffraction, with reflection points, with any of your cables. I've heard people say that, some systems sound muffled because the cables are no good. And that's possible. I mean, if the windings are wrong or if they're too close to other things or whatever the case may be, you need to, in my opinion, is consider other factors before thinking about lossless quality. Because you could buy a device, buy new speakers, buy new cables, but there's so many things that contribute to the end sound result that you can change incrementally that will make a bigger difference than playing lossless files, is what I'm saying. If you're behind a veil of any kind in your system, there is no need to go to SACD. There's no need to go to lossless files. There's no need to go to FLAC DSD. You know what I mean? There are other things that you can do to clean things up. Like in my case, when I got isoacoustic feet isolators, the isolators were able to, and the Arundel towers were already really rigid. They're heavy, they're HDF, the cabinet doesn't resonate a lot. But on the carpet or on the floor, there's an interaction there. There's a boundary where if there's a resonance from the tower, it's going to go through the feet to the floor and back up the tower because there's an interaction there. As soon as they put the isolators on the towers, it cleared up. The bass got a little bit tighter and the high frequency changed and got a little cleaner. And that's what I'm talking about, is we're talking about increments of change that are very, very, very small. And considering there are, anecdotally say there's 100 other things you could do, probably not 100, but any one of them will change and improve the sound a little bit. And I think that any one of those things that are less expensive, less complicated to do, are worth trying before moving into purchasing or even debating about lossless. I don't hear a difference, that kind of thing. Any one of those other changes could be affecting the sound, and putting a veil or essentially like a filter in front of the sound. Like I'm sure that my hand in front of my face just changed the way I sound. We agree? That's just my hand. But as soon as I move my hand, it's going to sound different. Then that's what I'm talking about. If you put a filter or something between you and your ear or something like that, it's going to change the way it sounds. And then as soon as you remove it, it's going to sound different. The same thing with audio and hi-fi. I mean, if you're looking for hi-fi and that's higher fidelity meaning clarity or more of the original signal, a lot of other factors need to be considered to move that stuff out of the way. And then you can get to what you're really trying to shoot for, which is cleaner signal, more detail, to a taste. Obviously, you could have a steak cooked however you want, certain amount of spices or salt or peppers or marinating time, or you know what I mean? You could add more or less, and it's all to taste, but there's certain physics with air and dynamics and all of that stuff that hold true regardless of our opinions. The objective facts about physics just are what they are. There is a real debate for those things, but when it comes down to like personal taste, hey, do whatever you like. All I'm encouraging is experimenting. Try it out, see what happens, see what differences you can hear. And that's all that really matters in that space is, can you hear the difference or not? Does it, I mean, what's the placebo effect is a real psychological, statistically valid effect. That's why double-blind tests are better than just blind tests or A/B tests. A lot of the times, the double-blind test, in most cases, will reveal results that are more or less accurate or more objective because they don't have things like visuals, social cues, other things like that that affect the test results. Placebo effect is a real thing that just is what it is. But to say that it's objectively different with a placebo involved or with subjectivity or bias or other things involved, it's not as significant as an objective test. Anyways, getting into the weeds over here, I want to bring in this. I haven't done this in a long time, and I want to just play through it maybe a little bit. Let's just see like what some of this stuff is. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well on screen. So this is my Discover Weekly. This is just something that Spotify puts together every week. There's about 30 songs there. And I scroll through it on the weekends just to show people kind of like what my algorithm has been like. I'm just looking through some of the names here to see if this is definitely not new. I know this song very well. Wish You Were Here by Incubus. I know that very, very well. Audio Slave, I know that name very well. That's nothing new. Some of them are new. Like, okay, let's see. Let me just play a little bit and then you guys tell me if you can hear it or not through the tab. Hopefully my speakers don't blow up on me. Let me see. I can't hear anything on my end. I don't know why that's not playing. Let me see. Web browser. Should be playing. I'm not really sure why that's not playing. I can't hear it on my end, but maybe that's because my speakers have shut down over time. So let me see. Let me play from the computer. Yeah, my speakers shut off. And let me go back. Sorry about that. When I have a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, so Fat John, see, I play like a couple minutes of it. Sounds pretty relaxing. Let's check out something. This is drum and bass for sure. I recognize this artist. Let's check this one out. So it's pretty relaxing. Sometimes it's like that, depending on what I've been listening to throughout the week. If I have like a lot of down-tempo stuff, then it will be playing some things that are fairly relaxing, down-tempo. This is probably a metal tune.
As in any city.
Nope. Funk. Cool. Anyways, that's how the Discover Weekly works. Pretty much, I put this stuff on every week. So I don't pay for Spotify, but I have access to it and transfer the Discovery Weekly. They do give different music than Tidal. I discover more music this way. Spotify is a very nice streaming service. So it's the algorithm and the UI for me personally. I find a lot more interesting stuff on Spotify this way. It just works to my personal taste better than the others. There's a Discovery and Qobuz, but it doesn't play the stuff that I like. It plays whatever it wants to play, which is strange. I mean, it's a good way to discover stuff, but I end up flicking through more songs because it's not even in my wheelhouse. It's not generating the play. It doesn't seem like it's generating it from my taste, which is fine because that's a good way to find new music. Like the quality from Tidal. Yeah. And then the quality from Tidal is also very good. The other thing that I've never used, and I will say this much, I have never used Rune extensively. Like I've played with it because a lot of people have it at shows. Audio Excellence has it at their store. A few other places have it at their stores. There's many, many, many apps out there. As long as the apps are just a control point rather than like a stream through or casting stream, that way you're not streaming it through your phone and then casting it to a device. As long as the device is like an endpoint, Rune has its benefits because you can include like an at-home library, which is really cool. But then also, I mean, Spotify is the same thing. If you're on a network at home, Spotify will use all of the files on the computer because it will read your hard drives. And then a streamer that I have, like the Eversolo A8, it has a 4 terabyte built-in M.2 drive, which I need to format apparently because when I loaded it, it didn't see the volume. So I can put all of my music, and I'm really, really looking forward to this. Really, really looking forward to it. Is putting all of the music on my computer, file sorted and everything, onto the Eversolo so I can access it via the iPad or my phone and just play it that way because there's so much music I have on my computer that I have not been able to listen to on my 2-channel system because they're separated right now. I didn't have a way to get the files from my computer that I use mostly into the 2-channel system. What did I miss? Oh my God, somebody's going to have to update her. You're a little bit late. That's fine. We're talking about lossless differences and things that we can do to improve audio quality before considering buying something like going from regular streaming into like SACD and expecting a big result. Stuff like room tuning, room treatment, speaker position, cable changes. All of 100 things can change the audio signal before we get to, hey, this is what I need to sound better. And then my weekly discovery list, I'll browse through tomorrow. I'm not willing to sacrifice this playlist that I'm on for that. And then also the release radar playlist is also an amazing thing that I love, like browsing through. See, this band, we were just listening to this on the discovery playlist as well. They showed up on both. And Paleface Swiss is metal. Akov and Audio, that's drum and bass. I recognize some of the names. Fine Print, again, showed up on my release radar. That's cool. Bjorn Lynn, this is also like down-tempo, slow sort of stuff. I recognize some of the names. Metric, Filthy Pig, that's pretty cool. President, that's a metal band. Lindsay Sterling, people might recognize her name. Vertist, this is a French band, French metal band. Very, very cool stuff. I've appreciated their ability to just get into the metal scene and then produce a type of sound that's very unique right now. No excuses. You're not banned, but behave yourself. I'm just kidding. So I use the Manic Moose that comes with Bryston Streamer. Oh, so that's like a software? Manic Moose. Can I look that up? Is it going to show up if I look for it? Oh. So that's on the Moon Audio page. Pardon me. Fuck, I wish they would stop doing that. Stop giving me pop-ups. How to use Manic Moose software on BDP music players. Cool. So this is a actual built-in player streamer media management system that's built into the Bryston thing. Cool. It is a Bryston thing. So yeah, they made their own player software, which is probably a PNP. I have to talk to them about that. Very, very cool. I'll check that out. when I probably at the show, I mean, Audio Fest is coming up, and I'll probably talk to the guys about all that stuff there. And yeah, for those who want my top selections, this is my condensed version. You guys see how many files are in here? There's 237 tracks in this playlist, but this one has 5,500 files. So obviously, when I say all the best, I'm not kidding. I pretty much condensed all the other playlists and put it all into one list. And this one are like my top. It used to have my name in it, but now it doesn't. That's my top selections. Obviously, it's my profile, so I changed it because I didn't think it needed my name in there. And this will be all my top files. I did clean it up a little bit. I have other playlists on the side here. You can see that I have a lot. I think they're all public, so if you really want to go through it and find like the Sleep Token, all chronologically ordered, so everything is in release order by story, by release. So if you're really curious, you could do that. My hip hop favorites, the new vibey tracks are all like really low sub bass stuff. So if you're really into that, you could check that out. My Hi-Fi 25 are just what I came across this year. And then the top selections is some of the stuff I think deserves some attention in the hi-fi space. Some of them are classic, like, Make Us Stronger is in there. Letter is in there. Fever's in there. There's a bunch of stuff in here that is very, very staple, like Aja by Steely Dan. Like, everybody's got that song. But there's a lot of other stuff in here that's electronic that a lot of people probably won't have. Like this one, for instance. This one probably won't get flagged, but if you guys want to hang on and hear something pretty cool. So this is what I do is I browse for a lot of music and I try to find something that's very unique or funny or interesting or just something, you know what I mean? Because like hi-fi shows get very boring. They play the same 20 songs every year and it just irritates me. So I always want to find something that's a little bit different. And I hope to God that this is not too loud for you guys. I'll let the drop come in and you'll understand what it is. Probably already understand what this song is. This might, I don't know if it's going to get flagged or not, but I'm willing to risk it. Anyways, that's Sandstorm. And I just find like interesting kinds of music, something that's a little bit different or unique, or if people really like that Make Us Stronger song, then I have 10 other kinds of songs that are similar to that sound, but it's not that song, right? Like it's just psytrance. Psytrance is a very, very wide genre. It's got lots of songs. So I find stuff that's in that space, but is not the same song. This one, for instance, has the guitars in the front. So I have lots of stuff like that. You can browse through this playlist if you wish. That's my suggestion. And I also have this playlist. Let me put it back up here. I do have the playlist also in Qobuz and Tidal because I'm using Soundees to transfer it to other platforms for everybody to find. Now, I don't know how easy that is, but it's available if you do want to find it. Spotify's free. It's public. You can look through the songs. You can find it in another platform, transfer it if you want, whatever. I love building playlists for Audio Fest. Yeah, I've been doing it lately, but I mean, honestly, I have all of them pretty much ready. The thing that I'm more concerned about with Audio Fest is which room at the show, like which reps are going to let me play what I want to play. And I mean, some of them that know me well, some of the guys that I see all the time, like Rich Zidell and Anders at Hagel and Ed, obviously, at EQ Audio. And I'm sure that Daniel with Audio Note will let me play what I want. Mark Jones will probably let me play something. Val and Akora, they're pretty loose. I mean, there's some stuff that I get into. After Hours is definitely better because you want to play something that is going to keep people in the room. But I mean, I've got a pretty good batting record. I brought new songs to Expona in 2023, and those songs went around and around and around for the next 2 years. So, I mean, I find the unique stuff, the stuff that's adjacent to the normal, and it ends up being like the new normal a year later. So Audio Group Denmark, let me read. So Audio Group Denmark, oh my God, they let me go nuts. Yeah. And Peter's amazing. Peter and all those guys at Audio Group Denmark are so great most of the time, unless who else is here? Fritz sometimes comes, Morton's sometimes around, depending on the show that we're at. I mean, the Expono show, everybody was there. Michael was there, Lars was there. Pretty much all the hi-fi, the next level hi-fi guys were there. Josh and Tyler. So it's nice when you get to play some of these new songs, and I'm hoping that somebody's going to let me play some of the new ones. I have a really good vibey bass track this year that's going to be really cool, so I hope that somebody's going to be there. I do have playlists on Spotify as well. I'm sure they're still on Qobuz, but they are from a couple years ago. Yeah, I mean, the music is timeless, right? If you just leave the playlist there, that's fine. Pixel Castle, oh my goodness. Mario in the house, what's going on? Haven't seen your name in the streams for many a day and a week, probably even months. Hopefully you're doing well. You know who has zero chill? B&W. No, really? No, I mean, I know the reps that are there, and I'm sure they would let me play some stuff. Maybe. Especially in Toronto, maybe at other shows, maybe not. Depends on who's in charge. I mean, they just got bought out again. Jeez, they've had like multiple owners over the last 2 or 3 years. I can barely keep track anymore. Pixel Castle says I use Soundees to transfer Spotify into Tidal Qobuz rather have lossless. Yeah, Spotify's got lossless, but it's fake lossless, as we've discussed earlier. And absolutely right. I do the same thing. I transfer my list with Soundees into platforms that I don't even use, like Tidal. So the playlist should be there, but I don't know how people are linked to it. Can you search for playlists and find my name? What happens? You guys let me know. What happens if you Google my profile name? What happens if you look for this? What happens when you look for my name in the players? You guys see this? Naughty by Nature. I was just listening to them. Synestia is that metal band that I was just listening to the other day. One of the videos that I played. Absolutely insane metal song. Like, I could not believe it. I still can't believe it. The video's on my channel, a couple videos old. You'll see the title. Synestia is there. Crazy amount of bass in the 2/3 mark, and it was this one, their EP song called Premonition. Unbelievable. I mean, it's pretty gnarly. I'm sure my friends will admit that it's a pretty gnarly sound, but the bass is crazy good. But yeah, all my playlist stuff is there. The big playlist is here. This one is also available on Qobuz, but it's split up into 3 because each of the playlists in Qobuz will not go over 2,000 tracks. So it's like 1999 times 3, almost times 3, because it's almost 6,000 tracks. So you can find them, you can look it up, the name is everywhere on all platforms. It makes it easy to find my material. It's good marketing, right? And you guys know how to say this. Psy like psychology, phonics, fawn like phone, like phonics like sound, hooked on phonics. And then onyx Onyx, the color, the stone, like black. That's what this is. That's what that means. Psychology, sound, and black being like, what are we always looking for in hi-fi? Black backgrounds? Yeah. I don't mean like black background like that's where my family's from. I have no family. I have no family in black family trees or anything like that. There's, that sounds even weirder to say, but no one from the cultural, you know what I mean? Like not like that. I mean black background as in silent, zero, no sound, no noise, low signal. God, I should just shut up. What am I doing here? Yes, AC/DC, that's right. Back in Black. There we go. That's what it means. Got stuck with got pasta. Yeah, I need to ask you about that. You can tell me that name. Tell me that later. Well, I used to have a name that I used all the time, but I don't use it anymore. I completely switched away from that name because, well, one, it was given to me and I didn't feel like this one I completely made up myself and it makes it unique for me. So I used to go by, and friends of mine would call me Kanga, like kangaroo. And that's derived from my first name being Joseph or Joe or Joey, right? Joey is kind of young, kind of like Italian mafia friends on TV. It's, you know what I mean? It was a name that I had as a kid. And baby kangaroos are called Joeys. So I got Kanga from high school. It was cute. Some of the girls actually called me Roo, like Roo, but it's also from like Winnie the Pooh stories. The mother's name is Kanga. The baby's name was Roo, I believe. So it was too much association, too much stuff like that. Also, media content that I had on those channels for a long time was very questionable. So I eliminated it all, deleted all those profiles, deleted the name, don't use it anymore. This one is more unique. It actually got derived. I kind of put it together because I was naming my drum kit. You know how people name their boat, they name their guitar, maybe they name, stuff like that. And I wanted to name my drum kit, and I decided to call it Symphonics. And it just stuck. I still appreciate it. I love the name. It's unique to me. It's the only thing of its kind online. It's easy to find. So, yeah, I appreciate it. So if you guys are interested at all, you can look it up, find the playlist, listen along, follow along, and then the media name is the same all over the internet. So you can find me everywhere else. Yeah, not badass at all. No, it's not. It's too adorable. Exactly. Bonzo, what's that? Bonzo? I don't. Is that the nickname? I mean, Mbuna can't be a real name, is it? I mean, it sounds. If I was to guess, that sounds African descending of some kind, but I'm not that culturally attuned. It sounds that way, but I could be wrong. If you let me know where that's from, I stand corrected. Pasta, we all know, is Italian, unless it came from China first. China had noodles, but they didn't have like pasta, right? Is that the story? I know that they had some kind of exchange there across that space. I wasn't sure what happened with history, but Mbuna is an African sea-chilled fish. My pronunciation is terrible. I barely learned English. Interesting, though, it's a type of fish. Okay, so I was right that the origin of the word is African, so that's cool. But okay, fair enough. So I was right about the name, but not right about that's not your name. I get it. Thank you for clarifying. I understand better now. I heard that song today. I see clearly now. The rain is gone. And I tried to embrace the meaning of that song, to think about like being positive and thinking better and thinking clearer and identifying where I am in life. And, these songs are meant to inspire. And then my nagging sort of like no dopamine in my face ADHD. I'm at work just struggling with my wrists being hurt. It didn't work. Not even that song could pull me out of that funk. I was like, oh, I wish this song was effective right now. But anyways, it is what it is. Well, to my friends, we are approaching the 1 hour mark. Not sure if anybody has any questions. Do you guys have any questions at all about hi-fi, my system, your system, things that are going on? Hopefully this topic today goes over well and people appreciate the topic, just going over lossless and like the pursuit of lossless versus like other things that you can do in your system to, to improve the sound of your system. You can do one of 100 other things before considering like hi-fi changes, things like that. So how do you like the new preamp? Oh, somebody did ask me this in my my chat earlier today, comments. They wanted to know how I liked it versus the Hegel. And if I'm really honest, the Hegel had been in my system for a little while, but then I did comparisons between the Ween Pro Plus and then Eversolo, and then I did the cable testing, and then I changed the streamer, and then I changed the preamp. So it was like 3 or 4 different changes back to back. So can I really comment on its sound right out the gate? I'm not sure yet, so I won't say that. I did like it. I thought that the signal sounded very wide, very accurate. There's a lot of clean details there. There is a small issue with the noise, like background operational, low operational noise, which I don't like, but almost everything has that. So that's a nitpicky thing. I love the volume control. I love the step volume control that it has. It's built like a tank. I love the way it feels. I love the way it looks. I like the way that it looks now that I clean the glue off the faceplate. Video coming up for that. Or if you want to watch the live video I did from a couple days ago, spoiler. I love that it has mono subwoofer outputs. The bass impacts seem to improve. The high frequency and detail is only slightly different from the Hegel, but I think that the bass response and the soundstage width is improved. It's hard for me to tell. There's a lot of changes that I did go through there. That could be the streamer doing that, but I don't think the bass response change was the streamer, because I did use this streamer first and then change the preamp after. My videos showcase that. So yeah, I like it. I like it. There's just the one issue that I need to figure out. I need to either talk to Hegel or turn the input sensitivity down on my amps, because right now the Purify module amps have low, medium, and high input. And the Radiant acoustic speakers that I'm using, again, my videos showcase what I've been dealing with. The Radiant acoustics are about 86 dB sensitive, where my Arundels were 92 dB sensitive. So I kicked the amps into high gain, and I think maybe that's what's bringing that noise floor up. So on my next listen, I'm going to turn those down to like medium, or maybe even low. If it's worth getting rid of that sound, I'll turn them down to low. That way the Radiant acoustics can benefit from the amp power, and I'm not like milking the gain setting in order to get that volume. You know what I mean? So there could be an issue there. I did talk to the store already. I did talk to EQ Audio, and they say like that's normal. Like a little bit of background noise in almost any hi-fi gear is normal. The real trick is separating signal from noise, right? Operational noise it's an interesting thing. My amps are dead quiet. The Hegel has a little bit of operational noise. And I think the Michi P5 has got about the same. I'm surprised by that because they're both reputable, very good built like products. They're engineered very, very well. So in my mind, when you're spending multiple thousands of dollars with things that are built so well with engineers that, you know what I mean? Why does it make any fucking noise? Get rid of the noise. Like, why is it so hard? That's what I want to know. I want to ask them, what is the deal? Why does it have any kind of noise at all? What is making the freaking noise? Do I have to ask Paul at PS Audio? Do I have to write him a letter and be like, bro, why the noise? Can you hear the noise from listening? Because I can in my room, yeah. When the relays just, I can hear it. I can hear the Hegel's noise at my desk here. You guys can't see, I can't turn the camera around. But if you've seen my desktop setup, well, the thing is, and I agree with this statement, that's not good. You're right. It's two things. I have a very, very, very quiet room. Like the decibel level in my room at its quietest is 28. That's the noise floor of my room. So everything in the room I can hear. And I'm also very, very attuned to micro detail. So having, like I said, the Arundel Towers were 92 dB sensitive, and that's where I like my speakers. There's not many that are above 90. A few of them are. But I like them up there in that range. 90 is like where I want it to be for sensitivity. The Radiants are 86, and I can hear it, like I said, with my amps on high gain, 25 dB. So if I drop them to 20, obviously that's 5 dB down, 2.5 times. It might do the trick, so I'm going to try that just to eliminate it. Little noise with your ears right against, yes, that's what it is. But I know what it sounds like, and if I back up, I can still hear the noise turn on and off when the relays click from 2 meters, 7 feet. Because I know what it sounds like. I know what my room's dead silence sounds like and what the gear sounds like when it's on and off. I don't understand why it's doing that. You know what I mean? It's maybe the amp level if I turn the gain down. But here's the thing. This doesn't do that. This was $400. It's dirty. Hold on. You guys see the model number, right? L70. It's a headphone amp. Look at that sexy front end. Something that Zeos would agree with. So balanced ins, RCA in, and there's an internal. I don't know what it is. I checked the specs for this thing. This is very, very well made. And you think about the power supply is built in. No DAC, just step ladder volume attenuator. And here's the thing. I think because it might be because this is an all analog volume stepper that it doesn't have that noise, because the Michi is the digital dial. My previous Rotel, same thing, digital dial. The Hegel is like a digitally controlled volume attenuator, same thing. So, and Anders was explaining it to me. It's got like an interesting sort of like algorithm. It goes up steep and then it rolls off. Like when you turn the dial a little bit, it's in my previous videos as well, the Hagel's volume reacts like really quickly. And if my amps are on high gain, it's even worse. So it was really, really weird. So I love the Michi's volume control over the Hagel, 100%. Not even close. But the Topping L70 and the Ever Solo A8 have like resistor ladder volume control. So you can hear the clicking when it goes up. This one clicks when it goes up. You can hear the stepping. And it's like actually dead silent. When I asked a lot of people, like, what do you think of the gear? Have you heard this? Have you heard that? They say, yeah, it's dead silent, whatever. I'm like, then why can I hear something? It's not dead silent. That's not dead silent. People in using terms like that is very confusing because, audio is all subjective. So when they say shit like that, I want to believe them. But then when I go to double check and it's not dead silent, I'm like, well, what? I can't trust you anymore. My point is, Mbuna, I hear you. Yes, it is interesting. A $400 preamp that I got from Topping, off of Amazon has no noise floor at $400. And the Michi at whatever thousand it is has a noise floor. And Rotel prides itself on having, they wind their own toroidal transformers, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, what is the difference if it's imbued in platinum and has ivory push buttons, if it still has a louder noise floor? So Pixel Castle's saying, yeah, I want to try a Topping pre-90. Probably pretty good. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I'm not sure what the technical thing is that's going on. But yeah, it's a thing. And I don't understand it. So anyways, get rid of this. Take away that. Comments. Using a Topping DM7 multi-channel DAC straight to amp. It's dead silent. Now, do you mean it? Do you mean dead silent? Ear to tweeter, dead silent? No noise? Zero? Zero? I want to figure out what they're doing because that seems to be the whole point. Why would you pursue hi-fi when you have a noise floor? Very interesting. Well, that's good to know. It's good to know that they have that. And DM7 multi-channel DAC. I don't know that I know that one. That's an interesting. And I know DAC to amp is becoming popular. I see a lot of those. Like, there's a few of them that have volume control. They're getting better all the time. Their voltage output's much better. So it's like, why even use a pre anymore? But then I asked about pre's. I had Rich Zidell on a number of weeks ago, and we sat down to talk about preamps. And it's not just about having like a straight wire and a volume control, because then you're talking about a source selector and then that's it. I mean, mine, I wanted to have bass output, like subwoofer output, but not controlled, just separated. And multiple balanced inputs and outputs. XLR was important because my amps are XLR. And the cables are also 20 feet long because of the way my room is set up. So if there's something else that I could do to bring the noise floor down, again, to go back to the point of the video, which was talking about lossless audio. I mean, all of the high fidelity in the world is predicated on the idea that you have a low noise floor to start with. Otherwise, all of the details you're trying to extract from the music is fucking ruined. Like, let's start there. Like, get the output signal absolutely zero, and then, so whatever Topping's doing, they're doing something right. And I'd love to ask some engineers about why. It's an interesting sort of thing. Anyways, I am over my hour. I thank you all for being here today. I appreciate seeing some of my friends in the chat, Pixel Castle, Mbuna, Pasta, Mirage, Bryston. I appreciate you. I think our friend True Voice of Reason is probably busy this evening. I think he did tell me that. For all of you or others that are watching, the 7 people out of, thank you for being here and listening. Hopefully the topic was worthwhile. If I shove my foot in my mouth on anything and I've said something out of place, go ahead and put it in the comments. If there's a topic that we can explore together at a later time, please let me hear it. I'll be back on Friday, probably Saturday streaming as well. We'll go over the music playlist. Pasta, you and I could probably put a playlist together. It'd actually be really cool to do a collab on that. Just an idea. I know you're really busy and previous engagements, stuff like that, but I think that would be cool. And Buna, yes, thank you for explaining the name. I appreciate it. I'm glad I got that one right. Cultural knowledge at a win. I'll see everybody in the next video. I appreciate you all. Again, next week is Toronto Audio Fest, so probably Tuesday, Thursday next week I won't be streaming unless I just jump in for like 5 minutes at a time because I'm going to be helping the guys set up at the hotel. Wish me luck. I don't hurt myself, because if I hurt myself, then that's the whole show and all of my other shit ruined. Not to mention if it's really bad, then I won't be able to do my day job. So that's me negative thinking, but it should be fun. Thank you everybody for being here as always. I'll see you in the next video, the next live Friday, Saturday playlist. Anybody else that wants to know anything about anything that's going on, please, all my other videos, I already have it. Don't make me repeat myself. Please, just go watch. All right, I'll see everybody in the next video. Thank you.